They laughed at dog TV. I had the last bark. ProRevenge. It started with Winston. He's a scruffy terrier mix I rescued from the Austin Animal Shelter. Smart as a whip, but riddled with separation anxiety. Every morning, the guilt gnawed at me as I left for Streamline Media, knowing he'd spend the next 8 hours cooped up, probably chewing on furniture and barking at squirrels. Streamline was your typical tech company open plan office, kombucha on tap, and a constant hum of nervous energy. I was a software engineer, buried deep in the back end where I was happiest. People, less so. Especially not the preening peacocks in the sales and marketing departments, or, God forbid, Chad Hansen. Chad was senior engineer, a walking, talking LinkedIn profile. He was handsome, always impeccably dressed, and possessed an almost supernatural ability to take credit for other people's work. He also had a knack for making me feel like I was still back in middle school, perpetually tripping over my own feet. One particularly bad week, after Winston had managed to destroy my favorite pair of shoes, I had an epiphany. Why wasn't there something like television but specifically designed for dogs? Calming visuals, soothing sounds, maybe even some subliminal messages about not eating shoes. I knew it sounded crazy. Dog TV. I could practically hear Chad's condescending laughter already. But the more I thought about it, the more sense it made. I spent hours researching canine vision, auditory perception, and common anxiety triggers. I even tracked down a veterinary behaviorist, Dr. Anya Sharma, who was willing to consult on the project for a reasonable fee. When Streamline announced Innovation Week, a company-wide initiative to brainstorm new ideas, I decided to take the plunge. I cobbled together a pitch for Dog TV, outlining its potential benefits for dog owners and its revenue potential for Streamline Media. Brenda Davies, my direct supervisor, listened with a polite but clearly skeptical expression. Brenda was all about deadlines and deliverables. She saw me as a reliable, if somewhat quirky, cog in the machine. The idea of me, Mark Olson, visionary entrepreneur, probably struck her as laughable. "It's interesting, Mark," she said, carefully avoiding eye contact. "I'm not sure it's really aligned with our core business objectives, but you can explore it during Innovation Week. Just don't let it impact your regular workload." That was Brenda speak for "don't waste your time on this nonsense." But I was undeterred. Innovation Week was my chance. I spent every waking moment outside of my regular tasks developing a prototype. I scoured stock footage sites for calming nature scenes, experimented with different frequencies of sound, and even created some rudimentary animation using my limited animation skills. The first time I showed it to Winston, he tilted his head, perked up his ears, and then calmed down. He actually stopped panting and laid down on his bed, watching the screen with a look of mild interest. That was enough for me. I was onto something. Then Chad found out. It started with whispers, then snickers, then outright mockery. "Dog TV, huh, Olson?" Chad said, cornering me by the water cooler. Kevin, one of Chad's sycophants, snickered behind him. "So you're going to show dogs reruns of Lassie? Genius." I tried to ignore him, but he pressed on. "Seriously, who's going to pay for that? Are you going to sell subscriptions to dog biscuits?" The laughter was louder this time. I could feel my face turning red. "There's actually research that shows tailored visual and auditory stimulation can reduce anxiety in dogs." I mumbled, trying to defend my idea. Chad just rolled his eyes. "Right, because Fido is going to curl up on the couch and binge-watch nature documentaries instead of chewing on your shoes. Good luck with that, Olson. You're going to need it." The ridicule continued throughout Innovation Week. Chad and his cronies made jokes about dog TV during team meetings. They photoshopped my face onto pictures of dog food packaging. They even started calling me Dog Whisperer behind my back. It was humiliating. I started to doubt myself. Maybe Chad was right. Maybe dog TV was a stupid idea. Maybe I was wasting my time. But then I'd look at Winston, his tail wagging gently as he watched the flickering images on the screen, and I'd remember why I started this in the first place. Emily Carter, a junior marketing associate, was the first person to genuinely seem interested. She'd caught me in the break room, tinkering with the dog TV prototype on my laptop. "That's actually kind of cool," she said, surprisingly. Emily always seemed busy juggling social media campaigns and influencer outreach. I never pegged her for an animal lover. "You think so?" I asked cautiously. "Yeah, I mean, my parents have a golden retriever who's a total mess when they leave him alone. They've tried everything: puzzle toys, calming treats, even hiring a dog walker. Nothing works. Maybe something like this could actually help." We talked for a while, and I explained the science behind dog TV, the research I'd done, and the potential benefits for anxious dogs. Emily's eyes lit up. "This could be huge, Mark," she said. "You just need to market it the right way." And that's when things started to change. Emily offered to help me with the marketing plan. She had some great ideas about targeting dog owners on social media, partnering with animal shelters, and creating engaging content to promote the service. Working with Emily was a breath of fresh air. She was smart, enthusiastic, and genuinely believed in the project. She also had a knack for understanding people, something I definitely lacked. We spent evenings and weekends refining the prototype, creating a marketing strategy, and preparing for the final presentation. It was exhausting, but I was also energized. For the first time in a long time, I felt like I was working on something that truly mattered. Of course, Chad wasn't about to let me succeed without a fight. He continued to sabotage my efforts at every turn. He deleted portions of my codebase, claiming it was accidental. He spread rumors to the marketing team, telling them that dog TV was a waste of time and resources. He even stole my presentation slides and presented them as a joke during a company-wide meeting, complete with embarrassing memes and sound effects. Brenda, feeling the pressure from Chad and seeing no immediate return on investment, started to waver. "Mark, I'm just not sure this is a good use of your time," she said during one of our weekly check-ins. "We need you focused on the Q3 deliverables. Dog TV is a nice idea, but it's just not a priority right now." I knew what she was saying. The plug was about to be pulled. Desperate, I convinced Brenda to let me run a small beta test at the Austin Animal Shelter. I set up monitors in the dog kennels and played the dog TV content throughout the day. The results were astonishing. The dogs were calmer, quieter, and less anxious. They barked less, chewed less, and slept more. The shelter staff was amazed. They said they'd never seen the dogs so relaxed. I compiled the data and presented it to Brenda. She was impressed, but still hesitant. "It's promising, Mark, but it's just one shelter. We need more data." That's when Chad stepped in again. He learned about the successful beta test and immediately tried to discredit the results. He claimed the shelter staff was biased, the data was flawed, and the dogs were probably just tired. He even went behind my back and spoke to Marcus Bellwether, the CEO of Streamline Media. Marcus was a busy man, rarely involved in the day-to-day operations of the company. Chad painted dog TV as a frivolous project that was wasting company resources. The day of the final presentation arrived. I was nervous, but I was also determined. I knew dog TV had the potential to help millions of dogs, and I wasn't going to let Chad Hansen stand in my way. I'd spent the entire weekend rehearsing my presentation, perfecting the visuals, and preparing for any potential questions. Emily had created a killer marketing plan, complete with mock-ups of social media ads and projections of user growth. Dr. Sharma had agreed to present the scientific evidence supporting the benefits of dog TV. Everything was ready, or so I thought. As I walked into the conference room, I could feel the tension in the air. Marcus Bellwether was there, along with Brenda and several other members of the executive team. Chad was sitting in the corner, smirking. I started my presentation, outlining the problem, the solution, and the potential market for dog TV. I showed the footage from the beta test, highlighting the positive impact on the shelter dogs. Dr. Sharma presented the scientific data, explaining the calming effects of the tailored visual and auditory stimulation. Everything was going smoothly. I could see the executives nodding their heads, impressed by the data. Even Marcus Bellwether seemed engaged. Then, disaster struck. Halfway through my presentation, the screen went black. The system crashed. I could hear Chad snickering in the corner. "Looks like someone forgot to run a virus scan," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. My heart sank. I knew he was behind this. He'd somehow sabotaged my presentation. But I wasn't going to let him win. I quickly switched to a backup system, a laptop I'd hidden under the table. It was a gamble, but it was my only chance. I reloaded the presentation and continued where I'd left off. This time, I skipped the slides and focused on the video footage from the beta test. I let the dogs speak for themselves. The executives watched in silence as the dogs relaxed and calmed down, their tails wagging gently as they watched the screen. When the footage ended, the room was silent. Then, Marcus Bellwether spoke. "That's remarkable," he said. "I've never seen anything like it." He turned to Brenda. "Why haven't I heard about this before?" Brenda stammered, trying to explain the situation, but Marcus cut her off. "I want this project greenlit," he said. "Give Mark and his team whatever they need to make this happen." A wave of relief washed over me. I'd done it. I'd convinced the CEO to invest in Dog TV, but Chad wasn't done yet. He stood up and started ranting. "This is ridiculous," he shouted. "This is a waste of company resources. This whole thing is a joke. Olsen is just obsessed with his stupid dog. He's not a real engineer, he's just a dog person." His face was red with rage. He was completely unhinged. I took a deep breath and calmly said, "Chad, I think you're projecting." Then I pulled out my ace in the hole. I had been collecting evidence of Chad's sabotage for weeks. Emails, server logs, screenshots, everything he had done to undermine my efforts. I presented the evidence to Marcus Bellwether and the executive team. The room went silent. Chad's face turned white. He knew he was caught. Marcus Bellwether looked at Chad with disgust. "You're suspended, Hansen," he said, "pending a full investigation. Security, please escort him out of the building." Chad was led away, his face a mask of shame and anger. I watched him go, feeling a sense of vindication I'd never experienced before. The next few months were a whirlwind. We assembled a dedicated team, refined the Dog TV content, and launched the service to the world. The response was overwhelming. Dog owners everywhere were signing up, raving about the positive impact on their dog's behavior. Veterinarians were recommending Dog TV as a tool for managing anxiety and stress. Animal shelters were using it to calm dogs in their kennels. Tech journalists picked up the story, highlighting the innovative concept and its positive impact on animal welfare. Streamline Media's stock price soared. Dog TV became a major revenue stream. Chad was fired after the internal investigation confirmed his sabotage. He tried to find another job in the industry, but his reputation was ruined. No one wanted to hire him. I received a promotion and was recognized as a valuable asset to the company. Brenda even apologized for doubting me. Dog TV continued to expand its content library, partnering with animal shelters and veterinary organizations to create new and engaging programming. We launched a line of Dog TV branded merchandise, with a portion of the proceeds going to animal welfare charities. Winston, the inspiration behind Dog TV, became a celebrity dog. He was featured in commercials, interviewed on television, and even had his own fan club. One evening, I was walking Winston in the park, reflecting on everything that had happened. I'd gone from being the office laughingstock to a respected leader. I turned a simple idea into a successful business that was helping dogs all over the world. As I looked at Winston, his tail wagging happily as he sniffed at a tree, I couldn't help but smile. They laughed at Dog TV, but I had the last bark. I had the last laugh, and it felt pretty damn good.